We have a question from Gavin asking whether we have any tips for trading around a busy schedule. If we consider things like normal work life and domestic responsibilities, it's quite easy to miss certain trades, certain opportunities. And Gavin just wants some tips on potentially building a trading routine around all of that. So thanks for the question, Gavin. And the first thing that I would like to say about this is that I can speak, from experience, that it's definitely not an easy task to do, right? Trying to find additional time with all the other responsibilities we have. There are a lot of so-called gurus out there that will say things like you only need 5 or 10 minutes a day, to be this amazing trader. But in reality, we know that is not always the case. Sometimes it takes additional time, more additional effort to really generate great trading ideas, to do some additional research and analysis and etc. So I can totally relate to having a very busy schedule and trying to balance work life and regular life with trading in your free time. And I call it free time because when you have a regular fast-paced job, domestic responsibilities, you don't really have, you don't trade part-time then, because you don't have a part-time. You only have free time available. Secondly, I can totally understand the concern about missing a lot of trading opportunities in the market due to that lack of available screen time or trading time. But just to put it into a little bit of context for you, I spend anything between 12 and 16 hours a day in front of my screens. And even I, with all of that time in front of the screens, I still miss plenty of opportunities. Because I might be doing something else at that time. I might be stepping out for 5 minutes to make a cup of coffee, and then someone tweets something important and I miss a potential move, etc. So even with all of that screen time, even sitting there full time, even with all of that, there's still going to be plenty of opportunities that get missed. So don't feel bad about missing that, those potential trading opportunities that you feel you're missing right now. You might be sitting in front of the screens and you might still be missing it due to other things that you might be doing. So don't feel too bad about that. That's really a normal part of trading, in my opinion. Now, the first thing that I want you to do in designing a trading routine based on or around your schedule is to really consider how much free time you realistically have available to trade each day. And I want you to be very specific with yourself here, because it's no use you set a goal to spend 3 hours per day if you realistically only have like 20 minutes or 30 minutes to give. So the reason why this is an important step is it will help you to be more accountable, but will also help you to adapt your routine around the rest of your life, which is very important because you want to stay balanced, you want to stay healthy. So if you realistically say that you have 30 minutes per day, then make that a goal to try and reach every single day, because you know that you sit down with yourself, realistically, you've given yourself 30 minutes, and then you try and get that 30 minutes done every day. Now, there were times when I would have a normal working day before I moved into full-time analyst work. I would have a normal 13 or 14 hour work day. I would get home, I would quickly chow something, and then help to put the kids, help them get them into the bath, into the bed. And after all of that, I would start analyzing and working. And I would sometimes work into the morning hours, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. And then I would wake up tired the next day and start the whole new working day. Go through periods like that for weeks on end. And eventually it all ended up always the same, with me burning out in the short term because my body just couldn't handle that for long periods of time. And it's not really a healthy way to stretch yourself like that, to stretch yourself that thin. So, later on, I got a little bit more realistic in my time goals for trading, and I tried to stick more to what I realistically could spend instead of what I really wanted to spend on my trading. So I really would encourage you to take that type of approach as well. So coming to the routine side of it, obviously with a regular demanding job and working hours, it's going to be very challenging for you to have any type of day trading focus. So you're going to want to predominantly focus on the more macro fundamental trades, the more medium to longer term trades, things that you are expecting to play out over several days or several weeks or several months. And for some traders, they might have more flexibility at work, which means that they might be able to put out some time to quickly trade an economic event or maybe a central bank meeting, etc. And if you can do that, that's great. But if you can't, you'll want to focus on those bigger macro themes instead. So the other thing to consider for taking a slightly longer term view is that you need to make allowance for short term market volatility pushing against your trades. So if it's a medium term or longer term position, make sure that you almost overcompensate in terms of your stop loss placement, if you know what I mean. Rather reduce more size on your position, reduce size on it, and make sure that you have enough space for the market to move against you in the short term. And that might mean that, account size is an important consideration here, because if you're trading with a smaller account size, it's going to be quite challenging to have your percentage risk make sense on a trade, because even at a minimum lot size on a small account, some trades might require you to risk a lot more than you would normally feel comfortable with. So that is something also to keep in mind. If it's a small account, it might be a little bit difficult for you to push out those stops. But I would really, encourage you to trade smaller and have bigger stops for the market to breathe. Now, the good thing about those types of trades is that you can be very flexible in your trade management, because it's something that you can give time to develop. A good recent example would have been the dollar bias, that short dollar bias that's been playing out for weeks on end. If these are the type of moves where you're waiting for a decent pullback, like something that happened on the 21st, you're waiting for something to push back against the market, and then you basically get in on a medium longer term position, and you're just giving that trade a lot of time to develop. Those types of trades will take weeks and months to play out, especially if it's in line with those bigger, broader macro themes instead of just short-term opportunities. Now, for those longer-term trades, you can also cut down quite a lot on your analysis and research time per day. At a bare minimum, what I would do, at a bare minimum every day, I would put in time. Let's say you have that 20 or 30 minutes. Use that time to go through the opening and the closing news in the terminal. So, if you go to the terminal, make sure that at a minimum you're reading your opening news, and you're also reading your closing bell news, making sure that you understand how the day started, how the day ended, what type of major themes occurred. Catch the opening video and the closing video of the day. That'll also be important for you to do. And then apart from that, if there's time, look for any specific videos that maybe relates back to what you might be trading. So if you're trading the euro dollar on a medium term basis, and you see that we did videos on the euro dollar for that day, have a quick read through that or listen through that. In the terminal, if you're trading, euro US dollar, just have a quick search of euro US dollar for that particular day. If time is an issue, and just see if there's any major news that hit the wires in concerning that particular trade or assets that you're trading. And then apart from that, if there's available time after that, go through additional market research. So in the market insights tab, go through some of the investment bank notes that we post, go through some of the trade ideas, those types of additional research. Go through your fundamental drivers report in the currency research section, go through the top trading opportunities report, and then see if there's any additional time for additional investment bank analysis, seeing if there's any time that you can spend for reading additional financial journals, going through sites like Bloomberg, Reuters, etc., just to spend some time generating some more macro-based themes that you can be trading. So if I was in your shoes, I would be happy to get through that every day. And the more and more you do it, the quicker you're going to get at it. So you might have 30 minutes, and you might be going through all of that in like just 20 minutes per day. And even if it means just going through, like I said, the wraps and catching up the opening and the closing news, and then spending some additional time on additional research by reading, those top trading reports, etc. I think at a bare minimum, that would be what I would try and do every single day. As that should be enough to give you some food for thought and provide you with a good idea of what happened in the markets, and also provide you with some ideas for generating additional medium-term trade ideas. So I think all in all, to just wrap up, it really comes down to what you have available, and use the information in the terminal to your advantage, to let us do the heavy lifting for you. Obviously there's the questions as well. So if you're generating and thinking about a longer term idea, please don't hesitate to let us know. Ask questions about it. Go to the video commentary, put your question in there saying, you know what, I'm looking to take a medium term or longer term macro play on this particular currency. What do you think? And we'll be more than willing to share our thoughts on that as well. So hope that's helped with the question, Gavin. As always, any other questions, please don't hesitate to let us know.